UFC 330, Islam Makhachev versus Ian Garry just wrapped up. We're the best in the world, and we are the greatest of all time. Oh, man, this fight was stressful. Now, let me just say something before I even get into this, guys. The whole fight week, I was nervous. And all the Makhachev fans, bro, and I'm a fan. I'm probably the biggest fan. But they were like, why are you so nervous, bro? This is going to be a walk in the park. This is the easiest fight ever. And I was like, you guys didn't watch as much footage as me. I know how good Ian Garry is. I know how tough it is to take down a tall guy. I was saying that people thought I was literally crazy. I was talking about Ian Garry's balance. I'm like, dude, he's hard to deal with in the clinch wrestling. And I actually said that it's going to come down to clinch wrestling. If you look at the 100+ hour video, thank God, guys, I'm telling you, you guys got to trust me when I watch that much footage. It was tough. And and people were frustrated about like, bro, why are you making it such a big deal? Because I knew how tough it was. But we really have to understand how good of a win this is. Now, I know the first thing you're going to see is people down, oh, man, lost to Ian Garry, can't be known as a GOAT. Bro, not lost to Ian Garry, but like, oh, competitive fight with Ian Garry, can't be the GOAT. This, that, and the third. Because they didn't understand how good Ian Garry was going into this. Ian Garry, 50-45 or 49-46, Carlos Prates, who now everyone's starting to look at, like, who's the next guy? He's the next guy. Ian Garry's good. Now, that tall man defense that I was praising, it was better than I thought, though. Like, prior to the fight, I thought it was going to be really hard to take down Garry against the fence, you know? And I thought in the open, it would be, like, Islam would have an easier time, which he kind of did. Like, you would take him down in the open, but I thought that sometimes, like, once Ian Garry would get, like, taken down, he wouldn't like be so insistent to scrambling. I thought that Garry lock was going to come out. And I saw him actually attempt it once. I don't remember what round it was, but like it was like when the one time Islam was on top of him, he tried to do it, but like he was doing it behind like Islam's leg or something. I don't know, but he didn't attempt the Garry lock. He was so insistent on just getting up and scrambling. Ian Garry came prepared. You know, that tall man defense is a dangerous thing though, because when Islam did have successful single legs, the way Garry would reach around and force the scramble. Kind of like, it reminded me of like what Prates was doing to Garry during their exchanges. These longer limb fighters, you guys got to understand when I say they are hard to take down, control. And that's what Garry proved. And that's what Garry showed in this fight. Now, a big thing about this fight, I was actually saying that Islam Makhachev was not going to have the striking advantage. Was it true? Yes, I guess. Like, because like the rounds Islam lost were primarily on the feet, which is rounds 2. Oh, not rounds 2. Hell no, not round 2. That was the most dominant round. Rounds 3 was the only round he lost, in my opinion. I thought it was 4-1 Islam. I know there's going to be a whole controversy. It could be 3-2. I don't actually mind 3-2, you know. But he definitely lost round 3. But it's because it was kind of just a kickboxing match. And round 4, if that's the arguable one, but it was more like Islam was controlling him the whole time. But like Ian Garry was landing more damaging shots. Honestly, I don't mind if you give him round 4. It doesn't change the fact that Islam won 1, 2, and 5 clear as day because Islam's fight IQ is a different level. But Islam did have the biggest moment in the grappling and in the striking. He dropped Ian Garry. Dude, I was losing my mind watching that. I literally thought I was going to see Islam Makhachev slime out Ian Garry by finish. He came the close to finishing the fight. People are going to hate on Islam saying, oh, he's boring. He never tried to finish the fight. The whole time he was trying to finish the fight, whether it was on the feet, in the grappling with some chokes, Garry came prepared. Gary's defensive grappling is great, you know. I'm going to critique a bit now on Garry. I don't think Ian Garry fought the smartest. And I'm saying this because Ian Garry, from the footage I watched, he was never really a complacent fighter at range. So what he does really well is those oblique kicks. I think he threw about 4 of them this fight. You know, but I don't really know why. But I think he didn't throw as much as I thought. So like it let Islam feel more comfortable on the feet. What he was doing a lot of was body kicks and trying to do head kicks. Like I could tell he was trying to go body, then head kick. The head kicks weren't really landing though ever. Like Islam kind of saw the head kicks coming. It was kind of obvious. Like I don't know why that was Ian Garry's go-to weapon. I thought though the go-to was gonna be obliques to set up things like he was doing against Bilal and stuff. I'm starting to realize something about Garry. Maybe he only throws oblique kicks when he feels threatened by pressure. It's not like because Islam didn't really have to pressure him. Like, I thought Islam was going to have to lead. That was something that was, like, scaring me. Like, Islam's flaw sometimes, because sometimes he leads very sloppily. Oh, actually will say this, though. Islam's, like, entry in his boxing, he looked quick, he looked sharp, he actually looked good. Like, came very close to landing on Garry on some boxing exchanges, so his hands looked actually pretty good. And he actually wasn't really stumbling over himself fully when he was leading. But he was standing in front of Garry for a good amount of time, and rounds like that, it's like Garry didn't capitalize on just oblique kicks. Garry could have been oblique kicking and oblique kicking and oblique kicking, but he wasn't capitalizing on it. He was kind of just standing in front of Islam taking pictures, and Islam was doing the same thing, you know. striking stats, it actually has Islam as total strikes 78, Ian Garry 89. So Ian Garry did outstrike him objectively against based on the stats. But like I said, I did fake like this is the hardest test for Islam, a long rangey striker, you know, who even though he didn't execute his game plan in my opinion to the best of his extent, he still like showed how much of a problem that frame is for Islam in this division when it comes to his wrestling. Islam's best weapon was almost, I don't want to say negated, but like he was struggling. He still took Garry down 7 times. And it was like he did have control. Like he took advantage of the fence, something like Bilal didn't do. Like taking advantage of the fence as far as like when he had him against the fence, my light almost fell. That's why I reached over. Like when he had him against the fence, he was like controlling him. He was like throwing knees. I know it seemed like, oh, that's boring, but like he was using the fence to his advantage. I feel like Bilal like kind of just separated off that and it kept trying to maintain and strike with him, which if Islam did would have been a problem. But this is like I don't want to see more from Islam. I honestly think he's the GOAT, guys. I think what he did, breaking Anderson Silva's record with 17 fight win streak, you know, defending against someone like Ian Garry. I think that's just solidified the GOAT spot. Fights in welterweight are tougher for Islam, you know, from every point of view. These guys are big. Garry actually looked a bit bigger than usual. Like I noticed that Garry, frame-wise, he looked a bit big. Gary's like very squirmy, guys. You know what I'm trying? Like Gary's like when he's like scrolled up, he's like crunched up in the ball. He was like doing a good job defending Islam's hooks, just being a squirmy little critter. Like he was literally just like clenching up his body in like the most awkward angles, and like Islam couldn't get hooks in. That was like one thing I noticed about that. I was like, why is Islam struggling so much to get hooks in? I'm like, oh, it's because this guy's body, like the way he's like morphing it and like squeezing it, it was just hard for Islam to like to kind of find his hooks, which I feel like not a lot of people are gonna present that weirdness to Islam in the grappling, but it was something Garry unironically did pretty well. Garry was just a squirmy little critter. So he was able to get out of a lot of situations. But Islam actually made me proud in this fight. I think he went through a fight, first of all. This was his hardest fight, in my opinion. I know people might still point at the Volkanovski. Actually, maybe not. Like, Volkanovski came the closest to finishing him, if you think about it, because he shot a takedown. Islam's cardio's not a bad thing, but it's one of those things that sometimes I don't know, like, it's not like he's always has enough cardio to win. And like, I'm not going to lie, in the 5th round, if he didn't have cardio, he would have lost, because the adjustment he made in the 5th round after continuously fence wrestling him, he was like, I got to make a statement. 4th round was close because he was landing shots in the clinch, and like he made some kind of trip, then he gets the body lock off it, and he was able to secure the body lock for the entirety of the fight, which he did a really good job. He was attacking submissions. He did the best he could. But honestly, like, listen, he 49-46 Ian Garry. No one does that to Ian Garry, dude. It lets me know Shavkat's really good, because Shavkat pretty much did that. Shavkat was out striking him and out grappling him, man. And I was giving Shavkat a hard time against the fence, like, for not being able to score takedowns. But that one takedown Shavkat did have in the open, where like he kind of like did what Islam did to JDM, kind of grabbed a single leg and kind of muscled him to the ground. That's not easy to do against Garry, especially with his balance and his frame. So I got to give Shavkat credit. He's actually pretty good. It's crazy that he's out, man. He's one of those fighters that like I'm starting to look back at like, holy shit, he actually was good, because I underrated him a bit, you know. And yeah, Islam has a lot of competitors still, like with Morales, Prates, who's gonna get it. I think Morales deserves it better than Prates, because Ian Garry smoked Prates, and then Islam smoked Ian Garry. 49-46, you know. But yeah, tough division. Morales is gonna be tough for Islam too, from just a physicality standpoint, because he's not only tall like Ian Garry, he's like strong as shit. And I feel like that physicality advantage showed against Sean Brady, who's another 5'10" wrestler, when he couldn't really get shit going. I'm not trying to compare Sean Brady to Islam, but I'm just trying to say that the size difference was evident. And Sean Brady weighs 200 pounds on fight night. You know, he's a big welterweight. It's not like Islam's small, but he's like around 190-ish. So it's like that size advantage. Morales being like 215 on fight night, it might be a bit much. Ian Garry on fight night is about 280. Keep that in mind, like 280. Not 280, 180. I think he looked like around 182 this time around, but Ian Garry is kind of skinny. Like, his frame is not big. So the fact that Ian Garry was able to, like, he wasn't muscling Islam, but the way he was able to force scrambles off his length alone was pretty impressive. But I do think if Ian Garry had even like physicality around him too, it could be even more intimidating for someone like Islam. I don't really care to see Islam stick around too much longer. As far as like, I think he's the GOAT of all, like, GOAT right now. People are always going to talk after Islam fights. People are going to already be critical after this fight. He beat Ian Garry in a masterclass performance and showed he had great striking, great grappling, and had great fight IQ to adjust and go against someone with a 5-inch reach height advantage over him. He showed greatness in that. People are never going to be satisfied, you know. It would have been great if he got the knockout. Oh, that would have been so satisfying, But there's not a single Islam fight where you can't say he's had a moment. Jaden fight kind of had no moments, low key, except for like pure domination. But this fight against Ian Garry, he had moments on the feet and he had dominant moments in the grappling. So Islam Makhachev gave a good performance. I'm very proud of him. Like I said, I was nervous. Now you guys understand I was nervous for good reason. It wasn't because I was nervous just being nervous. I knew how good Ian Garry was, So now you guys know I wasn't overreacting. And Islam Makhachev, I think he solidified himself as the greatest of all time. Ian Garry's a dog, but Ian Garry's not. He's not at that level of Islam. Not because Ian Garry's lackluster, but because Islam Makhachev's that good. I'm honestly so impressed with Islam. He surprised me. His striking surprised me a bit. His eyes, his vision was still good, And yeah, his ability to not get fully discouraged, Good fight IQ on Islam. If Islam had bad fight IQ, this fight was wraps. Like I said, the biggest thing, I think Ian Garry's going to be very disappointed in himself, though, because he's going to go home like, I didn't execute my game plan the best. I should have been oblique kicking and moving. Honestly, I could say this right now. If he was like oblique kicking and stuff and like actually being active when they were just standing in front of each other and not so stuck in the mud, I can't believe Ian Garry was like planted on the ground, not moving. I actually, like, I was like, he just kind of allowing Islam to throw those like little peppermint shin touches, kicks, like those little shin to shin little kicks. I don't even know. I actually don't really understand Ian Garry's game plan. You know what I think it was? I think Ian Garry drilled so many single leg defending drills that he was okay standing in front of Islam Makhachev and kind of almost offering his leg up for like, all right, take it, I'll scramble. But even if that was his game plan, he still should have let his strikes go. He should have been throwing more oblique kicks. If you're not worried about Islam even grabbing that front leg, there's no reason for you not to have a career high in oblique kicks. I think he was just so, like I remember someone asked me, do you think Ian Garry's going to be less striking heavy because he's going to fear the takedown? I said, not really. I think he's still going to be able to oblique kick because it's hard to catch those. But that person was right. I don't know who asked me that question, but they're right. I actually think Ian Garry was so locked in, like, I could defend single legs. I've been doing it. I know how to scramble. I'm waiting for it. Because even the first takedown attempt, it was so easy. Like, Islam grabbed the leg so easy, but Garry seemed so ready to scramble, and Islam did kind of win that exchange because when they were both fresh, but Ian Garry did get to the fence and keep defending well. So it kind of let me know that Ian Garry might have drilled so much takedown defense drills that he was so, like, ready for it, that he almost like got off his regular game plan. It was like, I'm just waiting for that. I'm waiting for you. He was throwing a lot of head kicks, but like, I swear, guys, Ian Garry could have been problematic for Islam if he was actually active when they were just kind of staring in the mirror. Well, counter striker versus counter striker just staring at each other. So not protest. Gary's going to be a bit disappointed in that when he goes home for sure. But Islam Makhachev showed that superior fight IQ, superior skill, and he literally showed he's the best in the world. And this is the most nervous I've been for Islam fight for good reason. And I'm really happy. I'm very happy I'm on this side of the coin. I've been through a lot this year, guys. I'm happy I'm on this side of the coin and Islam Makhachev gets it done. Great performance by Ian Garry, but Islam Makhachev's the greatest of all time, solidified GOAT. And now, Dern versus Gillian Roberston. I did say Dern was going to make it look easy. She kind of did make it look easy. Mackenzie Roberston kind of came alive in the 5th round, said, you know what, I could actually grapple. I feel like this fight was like literally who could score a takedown. Like whoever was on the offensive wrestling would have won. I feel like Roberston waited too long to start being a little bit of a marauder in the 5th round because she wanted the 5th round clear. The total strikes actually favored Roberston. But yeah, it was 4 takedowns to 1. And the 1 takedown Roberston had, she kind of secured Mackenzie Dern the whole time. But Mackenzie Dern just wants it more. It was WMA. This one was It was a fight. It was a fight. I don't really care too much about this. Unironically, it actually wasn't that bad. People are gonna probably hate on it a bit more. But Mackenzie Dern, champion, just holding the belt until Zhang Wei Li comes back. So shout out Mackenzie Dern for the win. I get it done, guys. You guys doubted me against Kaue Fernandez. Guys, the 2 Kenny variants, Jalen Turner and Neil Magny, we get it done. Turner gets it done easy. Those 9 strikes total, and knocks him out with a nice strike. Kaue Fernandez, I always said, was kind of shitty. Like, he swings so loopily with his arms like wide open. He has good low kicks, but that's about it. Turner kind of like just took like 2 low kicks and then like exchanged in like boxing. He just knocked him out pretty easily. Like 39 seconds in, Turner gets it done very easily. Yeah, Jalen Turner, he's good. I heard he didn't even want to come back. He just said God was calling him to the sport, stuff like that. So he's doing well, man. He's interesting though. Like he's always been good. I feel like he's always looked so promising and like he could be the best in the world, but Sometimes he gets in like dogfights and like he kind of shows some quit, but I feel like maybe he might be coming into himself. Great knockout, one of the best finishes on the card. Probably got a bonus off of that. He just dismantles Quay Fernandez, who I always thought was kind of shitty. So I'm kind of glad that I went in there and I done him really badly because he deserved to get done like that. Don't ever mess with this guy. I'm strong, handsome, and I can strike. So shout out me for the win. Um, oh man, this is the reason like everyone does shitty on picks. Like so much upsets. The two biggest, fuck it, I forgot Orba. Oh my god, the two biggest favorites on this card just lost. Manzur Abdul Malik, he's trained with Dustin before, but Abdul Malik's so athletic. He has power, but gang, like when he's in a dogfight, he kind of just wilts. He gets choked out in the second round after a war. The first round was great, kind of back and forth, but I feel like everything Abdul Malik threw, like Dustin just ate it. Like Dustin ate his best shots, and once Dustin ate his best shots and was confident in absorbing the power, he just brought a dogfight, used his wrestling, his All-American wrestling background, scored some takedowns, and ultimately broke Manzur. And Manzur is good. I just don't know what to do with him, man. He's talented, but pure talent and athleticism is not getting you far anymore in the UFC. So Dustin just gets it done, kind of drowns him, submits him in the second round, like towards the end of it. It was a good fight though while it lasted, man. It was back and forth, heavy hands on both guys. It just was, man, Manzur, bro. I don't know. He's not it. He kind of gets broken, and when every time a fight looks like a dog fight, he kind of shows a side of him that has quit. And I don't even Dustin's not even a world beater. He just lost, so that doesn't make it better. It doesn't beat Joe Pyfer though. I think he might have, but yeah, not someone who's a walk in the park. But the odds were crazy. But for the odds being that big, Abdul Malik getting done like that, it was kind of upsetting. He made it a good fight, but he does get broken overall. I felt bad. It was a very sad way to send off Edson Barboza. Why do people like Robbie Lawler get like easy fights? Dude, they pick and choose who they want to give Nico Price to some people and stuff, but they fucking give Barboza Ribovics in his last fight. I actually felt bad watching this one. Like it was just a beat down, man. I would have thrown in the towel at the end of that first. Ribovics just kept growing in momentum. He was just hurting Barboza. Barboza looked like he went into the fight with a little bit of a lumped eye. I can't even tell. He always kind of had like an eye differential, but it looked like he had some kind of black eye going into it, but Ribovics just came in and did not give a shit about his retirement and beat the dog shit out of him. Crazy pressure, crazy hands. Ribovics is good though. He's sharp, but he went against a 40-year-old man who went in knowing he was going to retire. Poor Barboza, but Ribovics makes it look very easy and kind of dismantles him and gets it done like it was a walk in the park. Another upset, man. This card of the upset, Chidi Nochekwani, the Nigerian, goes in there and kind of schools Yo Alvarez. Alvarez is so bad. I always said I don't even know why I picked him because I always say he's horrible because he doesn't fight well. He like never lets his hands go. He just got out kickboxing this one. Islam Makhachev probably would have smoked Ian Garry more comfortably if he didn't bring in this dude for his training camp. He should have brought in Chidi out of everyone. I don't know. Alvarez reminded me of Ian Garry, just stuck in the mud, standing still. Actually, wait. I just realized Alvarez was perfect because Ian Garry kind of just did stand in front of Islam, which is interesting. But Alvarez literally stood in front of Chidi and just went kickboxing for kickboxing, Muay Thai for Muay Thai. Chidi's the more accomplished guy in Muay Thai, kind of gets it done. Alvarez is just, I don't really know what to make of him. He kind of just not very good. He should go back down to 155. He just looked more fat, like quick in 155, better at scrambling. Whereas this weight class, bro, this looks like a dweeb, bro. I don't know, man. He just like even the fight against Luque was a little bit 50-50 when they fought, to me at least. Alvarez has a lot to learn, a lot to do. I don't know. Chidi gets it done. Shout out to Nigerian, kind of smokes Alvarez. Alvarez is just not very good to me. I'm so sorry. Good little bout though. Johnson versus Chaplin. This one shocked me. Johnson comes back with a third round submission after being down 2-0. Kind of like classic Johnson. Literally, he's like the Michael Johnson of flyweight. This was a catch weight though. The first round was a 9-9 because even though Chaplin won, they got a point deduction because Loki got poked in the ab, but the fight kept going in like a knee to a down opponent, something like that. So it was 9-9 going to the second round. Chaplin just carries on what he's doing, beating him up. And then after that, I think Chaplin, he tried to chase the finish when he had Charles Johnson really hurt. And he ended up fatiguing. When he fatigued, he got submitted in the third round because Johnson just applied the pressure and kind of broke him. It was a great twister, Chaplin was on his way to cruising to a victory, but he kind of got broken, man. That little twister, like I don't know if it panic tapped or how deep it was, but he looked in pain when he tapped. So Charles Johnson, shout out my boy Energy, gets it done against Chaplin. Great fight. This was a very fun fight. Charles Johnson finds ways to win sometimes, and he's on a bit of a win streak, So shout out Johnson, gets it done. Dante Johnson versus Khalil Rountree's son. Johnson's so bad, but he's still I'm not saying he's so bad. He's just so wild, isn't he? I actually thought Eric was gonna get him. early, especially. He just seemed a lot better, a lot sharper. Seemed like Johnson got caught with something, was like backing up, looked like he was not gonna want to engage as much. But then he sits on like the most sloppy 1-2 down the pipe and just sleeps Eric Monaco bad. I think it's saying Monaco McCone. I don't even know what it is. He sleeps Khalil Roundtree bad and just gets it done in spectacular fashion. That knockout was so powerful, so sluggish, just so ugly the way he was throwing it, but he gets it done. So shout out Dante Johnson. He's a marauder. He's a dog. And he kind of not schools, but he kind of catches Eric after I literally think he's going to get demolished. Johnson has power. Like, it's one of those power things that, like, he could win any fight if he tries to make it like that. But, yeah, you just got to not trade with this guy or he's going to knock you out. That's the way I see it. Vicente Luque versus Tresean Gore. I thought Luque was going to win by upset. Luque was doing actually really good. He drops him in the second round. He has that darts. I literally think the fight's over, but he literally gassed out his arms trying to get the squeeze. It was like 1-1, I believe, going into the third. And then that leads to Tresean Gore just outworking him in the third once he realized Luque was kind of fatigued. It's dangerous blowing out your arms going for or chasing finishes. That's kind of what Luque did. And Gore kind of capitalized on it. It was a good fight, though. Really good back and forth. It was a 50-50 fight to me. I did think Gore could have a chance, but I did feel like I literally said in my prediction there's going to be something happens, like Gore gets dropped or something or falls, and then Luque grabs the neck. I thought it was going to be a perfect prediction by me, but he grabs the neck, but somehow Gore just doesn't want to tap. Gore actually gets his teeth like fucking, oh, that was gross. I forgot what did it. Maybe a kick or something, elbow, but he got his bottom tooth knocked out badly, and he was like talking with the list. That was crazy. Poor guy, man. These guys don't get paid enough. But shout out Tresean Gore biting down his mouthpiece, literally, and getting the win against Vicente Luque. Early prelims, I started off pretty well. Fernando gets it done. Fernando's kickboxing looked great in this fight. Kind of schooled Tobias, gets a knockout in the third round. He's good. He looks a bit small for light heavyweight, but I feel like his talent is definitely something you got to take note of. He's a very talented fighter overall. So shout out Fernando getting it done. Tobias was kind of game. Well, when I say game, I just mean like he was eating some good shots, but he eventually gets broken in the third round and knocked out. And this is the other Kenny variant getting it done. I get it done against Ramiz Brahimaj. I predicted in this one that Neil Magny was going to be down 2 rounds and then get the submission in the third. But I was like, let me just lose 1 round and then find the late finish in the second. And that's what I did. I kind of reversed him, kind of got on top of him, kind of just started putting it on him, landing some shots, and I kind of broke him. So yeah, great win by me, man. Ramiz is a dog, but I'm always crafty, man. I'm crafty in my striking and I'm crafty in my grappling. In this card, I showed grappling and striking. So people can't say nothing about me, brother. I used my grappling to reverse him, knocked him out, and then I also obviously knocked out Quay Fernandez too. So, guys, the Kenny variants, man. The Kenny variants are dangerous. We're dangerous, bro. So if you see us on your card, we're the Call Cops. No chance beating us. So shout out Neil Magny and Kenny Okoye for the win. Jeremiah Wells and Orabai, man, after dominating 2 rounds, gets caught in a submission. This is one of those ones I didn't really sit, like, it hasn't really settled with me, not realizing that, damn, Orabai really just went in there and lost to Jeremiah Wells. Okay, well, like, I don't know, like, he was kind of dominating, and then, like, he just gets caught going for a submission, and I think he didn't realize it was as deep as it was, so he kind of just waited there, and then ends up getting choked out completely. Man, that's tough, dude. He was literally schooling Jeremiah Wells easily. It wasn't even like a Bekov, yours Bulgari situation, because Bulgari, like, smoked Bekov, but this one was more like Orabai was dominating, then gets caught in a choke in the third round after dominating. Upsetting to Orabai. Orabai, he has aura. He's one of the better welterweights, but gets done bad. It just lets you know, bro. This card was just like had upset written all over it. Like, honestly, for the main going into the main event, but thank God Islam's too good for this. But yeah, Orabai kind of gets choked out. In a very sad performance that he really should have won. But great card overall. Just so much happened. I'm just glad Islam gets it done. That's really the best thing I could take away from this. Islam Makhachev successfully beats Ian Garry in a very competitive fight. Great card overall. Good finishes, and good entertainment value. I enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's it for me. God bless. 2, 3, 4.